the question that was stated was how we would enforce the faculty and staff actually parking in the faculty and staff parking spots. And at this time, that would have to be something that comes from the head of university police, who's in charge of university police, and they would find out some way to enforce it. The only thing that we can do here is to send a suggestion of what we think would be possible solutions to the problem. So it would be creating a resolution that says that seeing the fact that we pay for parking in our parking spots in the parking deck, then we suggest that the faculty and staff park in their assigned green parking spots, if that makes sense. Does anyone? Okay, sorry, over here.
If Courtyard 1 North is going to be not going to be able to park on main campus, when do you feel like that will be put into effect, because they've already paid their parking dues? So if they pay for parking, how do you take parking away from them when they paid the same amount as all of us did? Like maybe if it was next semester where their parking fees are reduced or not put into their fees at all, because that's not fair for them to pay for parking and they can't park on campus.
That's a great point, and it seems probably at this time the proposal to have residence life students who live in Courtyard 1 and Courtyard North be restricted from campus access would not be something as immediate action that we could take right now. The easier, more set in stone thing are the obvious distinctions between student parking and faculty and staff parking. So my suggestion would be that the idea for residence life to go to the Developments and Improvements Committee, which is, we have 2 people in SGA who are on that. That's an institutional committee. And one of the things they talk about is parking. So they can bring up that idea to that committee and work within that.
I agree with Michaela, but I was just going to say that not only freshmen live in Courtyard North, there are upperclassmen that live there, and that is an inconvenience to have to ride the shuttle, because I know I lived there last year, and sometimes it rains, sometimes you have to get to class, you cannot always get the shuttle. So I don't think that would be an appropriate mandate to make, because it affects a lot of students, and they might not make it to class on time.
Thank you, that's a valid point. Up here, and then we'll come to y'all in the back.
From personal research and seeing how other schools in the Georgia system does it, I believe that instead of mandating students to not drive on campus, what we should do is to go ahead and charge teachers a parking fee at an appropriated price. Not saying that they pay what we pay, but at least between 75 to 50% of what we pay, and let them be restricted to their green parking spot. And if they want to open campus to open up for everybody, for everywhere, let them have to pay more so you can do the parking, students parking. And that would be more fair, and yet it will create more money for the school itself to pay for parking.
In the back. Sorry, I can't hear you up here. Could you go ahead and take the mic? Thank you.
Hear better? What are we going to do to create more parking? I hear a lot of discussion about charging people to park or fining people for parking in the wrong spot, but we're a school that is trying to grow and create more students here at this CSU. So what are we going to do to create more parking? Are we going to propose more parking spaces? Are we going to create another parking garage? What is your plan, Mr. President?
That's a very good question. Probably what, like I said earlier, is this meeting right here, what we're talking about, are some immediate solutions that we can help that might affect parking to some extent to the current parking situation right now. For the future, obviously, growth is something that we want to do and have more students that are on campus, so obviously parking will become even more of a problem. So, like I said earlier, there is a developments and improvements committee that's through the institutional or faculty senate committees, and we can make sure that our two representatives that we have sitting on that committee have that voice to say, students think parking is a problem, and we need to come up with some solutions for the near future, whether it is a new parking deck, whether it is finding some other areas to make new parking. But the biggest thing is we have to be able to, us up here cannot do everything. Really the power from SGA and our voice comes from the committees that the representatives and the people up here serve on also. So sending it to the appropriate committee and letting them know this is a problem and we need to deal with it. Another question back.
Okay, most of our staff, I'm speaking as a staff and a student. I do have a balcony south parking decal, but also I do pay student parking. So I think there should be a clear distinction between faculty and staff that are also students on campus. So part of you guys seeing staff members, faculty decals, and parking is because we are students as well, and graduate assistants have faculty and staff. As long as you're on CSU's payroll, you get that faculty and staff decal. So there just needs to be a clear distinction between, like the Speaker of Senate says, that everyone needs to pay that fee.
Were there any more questions?
Just something to think about. I know for a lot of faculty, there's not close parking to where they need to go. For instance, a lot of the athletic department, they have to park far away, and a lot of them can't walk as far as the mandated faculty. So I think if we did push for anything, we'd have to make sure that there are exceptions to people who can't do it. Also, I just want to make a point that most students get to school 30 or 45 minutes early just to make sure we can get parking. So as far as students who live on campus, I mean, it's only fair. I mean, if you have to get earlier to the shuttles to get to class, I mean, we get to school early, so they should have to as well. If it's raining if it's raining near housing, it's going to be raining on campus as well, so you're going to get the same amount of rain.
Thank you.
I think that the reason why a lot of people don't use the parking that's by the soccer field in Cunningham is because it's so far away. So maybe if we have some type of trolley or something, because I see several golf carts that are riding around with one person, they can take people to at least the main campus bus stop since it's so far away. And as far as people staying in housing, that's what they have the shuttles for and umbrellas. So that's not an excuse to say, oh, well, I stay on campus. We stay off of campus and we have to get in our cars to drive to campus. So you have a shuttle on campus. And as far as the staff and faculty, I think it's only fair that they get tickets if they park in our spaces, because we get tickets if we park in theirs.
I was on CSU payroll over the summer. I didn't get an employee parking pass. I wish I had. But if the faculty and staff to be mandated to park in their own parking spaces, this gentleman asked, I would like to see it enforced with a citation, like we get.
All right, this is going to be our last question because we are running out of time.
The only suggestion I was thinking is I know some of the parking lots,
faculty parking lots after certain times students can park in. I know one specifically, I'm not sure the lot number, but owned by the library in Stanley. They can't park in at all any time of the day. So maybe an option might be to maybe open up that parking lot as well, maybe after 6 o'clock like the others, because I really don't notice many cars in that parking lot at that time. So that might help, because there's a lot of congestion is in that area.
Okay, thank you. Obviously, parking is going to be a very elaborate and difficult issue. The two proposals, like I've said earlier, that we have right now are the faculty and staff parking spots and the having the residence life courtyard 1 and courtyard north students not allowed to be on campus from 8 to 5. So going forward from here, probably the best thing to do would be to form a committee within SGA that's specific for parking, and that way the committee can do any research, talk to faculty and staff in regards of being able to make sure that, like was brought up before, that appropriate faculty and staff parking spots are in place for those that can't walk great distances or such. And so at this time, we have someone who wants to make a motion.
I wanted to make a motion to go ahead and vote on the proposal, on the first proposal to be something that we do, because we were all in agreement that faculty and staff should be mandated to park in their parking spots. And if we can make this proposal and take it to the police officers as a proposal to see if they can go ahead and put citations on the faculty and staff cars, because that's something that can happen right now. We don't have to form a committee for that, but forming a committee for future solutions would be something that is something we might need. So that's my motion to vote for that proposal.
Okay, so the motion that has been made is to have the first proposal, which is the faculty and staff parking in their own parking spots, to attempt to create a resolution to solve that problem, which is what is within the power of SGA, is to make a resolution that gives a suggestion to administration and faculty and staff of what we see is the best possible solution for the problem, which in this case is parking. So to reiterate, the motion is that to make a resolution for the faculty and staff to park specifically in their green parking spots. All those in favor, please. Oh, it has been motioned. It needs a proper second. Second, okay, the motion's been seconded. All those in favor to vote in this instance, we'll do it by hand. So all those in favor of this, please raise your hand. Right hand. Okay. And then, good job. And then all those against, please raise your hand. Okay. The ayes have it. So the motion will pass to attempt to make a resolution that will suggest that faculty and staff park in the green parking spots that are allotted to them. So thank you so much for your contribution to this, and a round of applause because that's what forum is all about, to talk about problems, to try and find solutions, and to be able to move forward. And at this time, that brings us to our new business, which is the International Relations Club, to make their funds request. So at this time, they are coming forward, and we'll let them present.
Hello, my name is Morgan Hayden. This is Ray. We're here on behalf of the International Relations Club today. Our advisor is here as well, Dr. Kyle Christensen from the Political Science Department. We have a couple other members here as well. Ryan Mona, our SGA rep, and then Bryce Linden, our vice president. Next slide, please. All right, so the International Relations Club, its purpose here on campus is to promote international relations on and off campus. And additionally, we try to engage students academically and socially. We do a number of activities. Our main one that we're going to be talking about today is Model United Nations. We also do various activities on campus, such as guest speakers. We did a 9/11 memorial last year. We've held various fundraisers to raise money for our trip. We're thinking about doing movie nights and different fun stuff like that, but we're very active on campus. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Model UN, basically we're going to be representing a country, Morocco. Our delegation will sit on various councils, and we will try to pass resolutions like the real United Nations, basically. So this involves a lot of research, a lot of time and energy to prepare. And basically we go there and try to pass resolutions, as I said. We have a 13-member delegation this year. It spans all different colleges, the College of Business, the College of Letters and Sciences, and also the College of the Arts. Our model is in November, as you can see. And as I said, this takes a lot of research, and it really engages students on an extra level outside of the classroom. In the past, we've gone to Model Arab League a number of times, and we're always very well represented, and we win various awards. Ryan actually won honorable mention last year, and we have different awards that sometimes we get, like Best Delegate or Best New Delegate, things like that. A special thing to note is that it is in Atlanta this year. Seeing as how CSU is trying to recruit more heavily from Atlanta, this is a really great opportunity for us to represent our school well and just kind of increase our or improve our prestige and just add to everything that CSU is. I'm going to hand it over to Ray. He's going to get into more detail with the actual numbers. We've done a really great job. We put in a lot of time and effort to fundraise, so I'll turn it over to Ray now.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, so getting over a cold. Here, basically, the total cost for the trip is $3,500, but we only are asking for $1,700 from SGA. $1,075 for the registration, $625 for hotel. Everything else we will cover. So basically, is there next slide? Any questions?
All right, so that was the conclusion of their report. Are there any questions that you have for this club? Yes. The question was, how many people are going on this trip?
I'm sorry, just 13 people going on the trip, and it's for 2 nights in Atlanta.
All right. Any other questions in the back?
That's a really great question. We are somewhat of a small club, but we've had multiple fundraisers to try to raise money. If you actually go back to the previous slide, it shows all of our fundraising efforts. We've raised about $1,200. We did that through about, I believe it was 4 donut sales, a couple hot dog sales, different things like that. We're still planning on raising about 650 more. So if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, we're asking for about 45% of the total cost, and then we're going to raise the additional funds to reach the other 55%.
So as you can see, there is an area up there for their fundraising efforts. Any more questions? Okay, since this is a silent ballot, we will vote on that. Please mark yay to approve or nay to disapprove. And thank you all for coming. Sure, one more.
Just one more quick thing. Oh, one more question?
Okay. The motion has been made to reduce the amount to $1,000. Currently, you are asking for $1,700. So the motion has been made. Is there a second for that motion? Okay. Seeing none, then the motion does not carry. But thank you. There is a question, though. You have a question? Go to the previous slide, please, one more time. Thank you.
Oh, no ma'am. Actually, this is just a breakdown of our total cost. The $1,700 that we're asking from SGA covers the conference delegate fees, which are $75 per person. So I think that's about $975 plus a $100 country fee, so $1,075. And then the rest would cover our hotel. So it's not our total hotel cost, but it's just the portion that $1,700 minus $1,075. And then we just wanted to illustrate all the costs for you and show you what we're covering and what we're asking for.
Thank you. One last question, okay? The question was, if you do not raise all the funds, are you not going?
As I said, we've tried to make a concerted effort for fundraising, so if we get part of the funds and then plus our fundraising efforts, if there's a little more that we have to cover, for example, if we don't raise that extra $652, we could petition other sources, but as CSU is kind of perpetually in kind of a budget crunch, it's kind of hard to ask these sources for money again. But one possibility is we could have our delegates pay for the extra $600. But we've already asked them to pay dues and then also put in so much time and effort, not only in fundraising, but in research, that we're trying not to have them pay more than they've already paid.
All right. Time right now is, 1:23. So we're going to go ahead and close that and move it to the voting. As again, we mark yay for yes and nay for no, and since that is silent ballot, the representatives are not asked to step outside. So that is the last thing that is on the agenda for today. But as you are voting, I would like to take this opportunity to open the floor to any new business that may come from the floor at all. Okay, seeing none, we will start to have the justices go ahead and pick up all of the ballots, and then after they have picked up the ballots, then we will move to close the meeting. All right, that's about it. Once again, guys, thank you so much for coming and for making this forum a great one. We're glad to be able to move forward, and there is a question back. Thank you. All right, and at this time, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn. The motion has been made. Do I hear a second? The motion has been made and properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? All right, we will close.